My name is TJ, and I love the Lord. So this morning I was reading out of my Bible, and I was reading Psalms 27. So I'm reading Psalms 27, and I get to verse 4, and I'm just like stuck. And not stuck in a place of like misunderstanding, but stuck in a place where it's like a wake-up call for me that if you love the Lord, this is how you should seek him. And so I'm just going to read Psalms 27:4 just to open up the scene and just share my notes also. So Psalms 27:4 reads, "One thing I have asked of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord and to inquire in his temple." And I couldn't get past that verse. And just in that one verse, I feel like the word, it preaches itself. It teaches, you don't need to add anything to it. So the first thing is that I see that David says, one thing I have asked of the Lord. Like he asked the Lord to help him with his relationship. And that is like the most important thing to him. He didn't ask the Lord for blessings, for riches, but he asked the Lord to help him seek him. And it's just like, this shows why David was a man after God's heart. And it's even in all his falls and in his sin, verses like this show you like, okay, he is my salvation, but I'm going to seek him regardless. I love him. My heart is set for God. So I asked the Lord to help me seek him. And I just thought that was just like the opening for me. And I'm like, okay, I got to go through each phrase that he said. So after that, I went to dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. And so I'm like, okay, the house of the Lord, what is it? What is the symbolism in this? And so it's not the temple of God, or he wasn't talking about like an actual church building that we would see today, but the house of the Lord is the presence of God. And so to be in the presence of God all the days of your life is to be in a place of shelter and protection. If we think about our houses where we live, it's a place of rest. It's a place of shelter, of protection from outside weather. And a lot of people aren't fortunate to have that protection. A lot of people are homeless. So to be a follower of Christ, to be a believer, to dwell in the presence of God is a form of protection from our outside wants and desires. So all the days of your life, that is what you should desire. That's what I should desire. So I wrote that down, and it's just like, I don't want to be outside of that protection. I don't want to be homeless in a sense. I want to be in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. So that was the first action, is to seek and to be in the presence of the Lord every day. The second one was to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord. And so when you think of a gaze, you're in awe of something, you have an affection for it. So to gaze upon it, that means you have to actually take time. To gaze is not a glance, you're not a look. You're sitting there and you're focusing on it. You're dissecting it because you're gazing on it. So I have to take time to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord. I have to take time out of my day to make an effort to sit and just think on all of the excellence of God, his glory, his power, his knowledge, his faithfulness, his love, his kindness. All of these things are what makes God beautiful. I have to sit and I have to meditate on his word and take time to give to him every day. And I was just like, okay, this is the love relationship. This is the action. This is what David is trying to describe to us in these metaphors. And then the last one is to inquire in his temple. And so when you're inquiring about God, you want to know his thoughts, because his thoughts are not our thoughts, as the Bible tells us. He transcends all knowledge. And so to inquire is you coming to God, and not in the form of interrogation, but in the form of question of, okay, where are you leading me? What are your thoughts? What is your will for my life? So God gives us this space where we can come to him while we're seeking him to know, what is the path that you're laying for me? How can I inquire to even know you better? How can I be more wise? Asking for wisdom, asking for guidance. And it's like these 3 simple steps are everyday things that David asked for, the man after God's heart. And so for us as believers, if we want to seek God and we want to have this ever-growing relationship with God, that these are the simple things. We seek his presence every day. we gaze upon all of his excellence, and we inquire about what he is thinking. What is the mind of God? What is he thinking? Where is he at work in my life? And I just felt like that was beautiful, and I had to share Psalms 27 verse 4. And I feel like every day I could come back to this one verse just to remind me that this is the love relationship. This is the action of a faithful servant. So I hope this bless you all like it blessed me, and have a blessed day.